Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering? If the answer is yes, then you're ready.
It's time that we stop pretending that Santa Claus is a cishet man, because let's be honest, no cishet man is going to be able to circle the globe in one night giving out a bunch of gifts. It's a queer, shaking their iced coffee, getting it done, backed by a team who has community.
For TikTok Unpack, let's unpack Black Queer Christmas. When you're black and queer, you're so used to being different that it becomes a feature of your identity. Whether your circumstances let you express it freely or not, we can't escape feeling at odds with society. But there are times we've all wished we could just push a button and stop feeling different, just for a bit. Especially around times like Christmas, when everything around us and in society reminds us that it's quite nice to spend time with people we love. So what would be Black Queer Christmas? It's a time when we can forget for a bit that we're different and we can enjoy our family of choice, whether it's our biological one or the one we built along the way. Actually, it could be any time of the year. It doesn't have to be around Christmas time, and we don't even have to call it Christmas. After all, we've already had to improvise our blackness, our queerness. We can improvise our festive celebration as well. Happy Black Queer Christmas, or whatever you call it.
What if All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey was a lesbian yearning Christmas song? I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true, baby. All I want for Christmas is you. I think it hits a little different. It doesn't have to be lesbians before anybody gets mad, but it hits different. Tell me I'm wrong.
Warning! This is gonna trigger the Marshmallow Mafia. I'm dreaming of a world without white privilege. Judicial sentencing that's fair. Inclusive history lessons. Equal pay representations. For the freedom to barbecue without a Karen's stare. I'm dreaming of a mayonnaise minority where black folks survive traffic stops. Defunding the police is just right-wing fear talk. All I want is just to have less shitty cops.
Hi, Benji here, and this is why Do They Know It's Christmas is a problematic song. Do They Know It's Christmas is a festive hit written by Bob Geldof and Midge Ure, released in 1984 by Band Aid. It's a charity single that raised millions for famine relief in Ethiopia at the time. But the song lyrics are fueled by racist perceptions that glorify white saviorism. They objectify Africa as a place where nothing ever grows and no rain nor rivers flow. And its people are dehumanized as the other ones, who are helpless and don't know it's Christmas. The narrative that Africa is an inferior continent fuels racist behaviors and attitudes. So while the song had positive intentions, its sweeping racist and incorrect generalizations have a harmful impact on people of color that we shouldn't promote. If you need a festive song to play this season, maybe try some Mariah Carey. Hope that helps. Bye!
Did you know that the song Jingle Bells was racist? It was written by a rebellious composer who supported the Confederacy and performed the song in blackface. The songwriter James Lord Pierpont is the uncle of J.P. Morgan, you know, one of the richest men in America's history. While his father and brother took fiery stands against slavery, Pierpont became the staunch supporter of the Confederacy. Jingle Bell was not always its original name. One Horse Open Sleigh was the name that the composer gave to it. Where did he get the idea from the song, you ask? Although we sing this song during Christmas, it was not intended to be a Christmas song. Some historical accounts report that the tune was first performed for a Thanksgiving service at his church. These performances were performed in blackface. But what is a jingle bell? A jingle bell was a device that was put on the neck of slaves who were the most common to run away during the holiday season. Seeing that it was locked with bells at the end of it, it would jingle as they ran away and give away their location. So this holiday season, be sure you know your historical facts before you sing a song. I'll be doing more of these during the month of December.
offensive. It's basically a festival of white male privilege. Santa's toxic masculinity reducing the role of women to bit part player victims.
He's deciding which kids are naughty or nice, the rum-sodden gammon. I mean, he's basing it on the warped lens of Western morality.
Whilst Mrs. Claus, the doting housewife, sacrifices her dreams, ambitions and body, all for a husband that doesn't respect her. It's just so outdated.
Okay, well, that's Christmas cancelled then, guys.
This week on The Debate, I'm joined by actor and feminist activist Paul Denham and author Amelia Gruntner to discuss whether Christmas is offensive.
Paul, isn't Christmas just a bit of fun, though?
What's fun about perpetuating misogynistic and transphobic tropes? Brainwashing children into accepting the patriarchy and capitalist exploitation of the 99%.
Amelia, can you expand on that?
How about hypersexualization, okay? Filling a stocking, stuffing the turkey, roasting the potatoes, pulling a cracker. Baubles, symbolising cis male testicles.
The nutcracker, chimney dogging, greasing the Christmas cucumber. I mean, you know, snow ploughing. What is this? Carry on Christmas?
Paul, last year you controversially turned The Handmaid's Tale into a Christmas panto.
Yes.
Were you expecting for it to be pulled in the first week of its 12-week run?
In a way, yeah. My work has always pushed the boundaries of art by challenging societal norms, and, you know, I suppose this was no different.
People just weren't ready for it, Paul.
They never are.
And now you have collaborated with Amelia on a children's book called Santa Claus and the 1%.
This one's called The Spirit of Christmas. Pain, mother, fear, desperation, soup, hurt, anger, anguish, Santa, pig, dogs and cats in pain. That's it. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Paul. That was
All right.
beautiful.
Are you okay, Paul?
No, not really.
Well, Paul and Amelia, thank you so much for joining me. It's been incredibly insightful. And your new book, Santa Claus and the 1%, is available on Paul's website from Monday. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, we're talking about Christmas trees in public schools, and I just want to address how creating an inclusive classroom actually helps all the students in your class, or rather how not creating an inclusive classroom can actually harm all the students in your class. So let's say you're a kid who celebrates Christmas, but you are different or exceptional in some other way. Maybe you have a food allergy, maybe you have a sensory processing disorder, you can't handle loud noises. Maybe you have a parent who's incarcerated, or you live with your grandparents. You observe how the teacher is handling your classmates' difference, and you think, I better not show my difference. So the message that those kids get is, this is normal, this is how difference is treated, and when it's my turn to be different, I better not talk about it. So creating an inclusive environment does not just benefit the student who is different in that one particular case. It benefits all the students who are watching the teacher and watching the other students and how they react to that difference.
Why I will never be coming back to BC's largest Christmas store. This was a complete flop for me. Out of 50,000 ornaments, they did not have one Blanta Claus.
Okay, quick warning, I'm about to give some unsolicited advice. So if you are not interested in this advice, feel free to keep scrolling. The question I got a lot yesterday was, how do you teach about winter holidays in a way that does not exoticize or alienate certain students in the class? So I'm going to give you 3 suggestions. Suggestion number 1, don't decorate your class for Christmas. Again, unsolicited advice, feel free to ignore. But if you really want to give a neutral account of all religious observations, don't decorate your class for Christmas. Fairy lights in the classroom, but if they have Christmas trees on them, that's a Christmas decoration. If you have a Christmas tree in your classroom, you can call it a holiday tree all you want. That's a Christmas decoration. So if you are someone who's serious about equity and inclusion and diversity, don't decorate your classroom for Christmas. Number 2, don't do it in December, or don't necessarily do it in December. I'll link to an article that talks about the December holidays and how we can kind of conflate them because they simply happen to be around the same time as Christmas. Hanukkah is not the Jewish people's main holiday. Our main holiday happened months ago. The only reason Hanukkah gets taught is that it's right up next to Christmas sometimes. If you're really going to teach about the main holidays of the major religions of the students who might be in your class, then why are you doing it in December necessarily? If you really think about it, the reason might be because it's really about Christmas. It's a way to teach about Christmas, but also feel like you're being inclusive of other religions. But let's be honest, it's about Christmas. Piece of advice number 3, do it as part of a instructional curriculum. Now, I happened to be at home with my daughter. Her class got quarantined, and they were doing a unit in 1st grade on world religions. And they talked about religious holidays. And it happened to be, I think it was in November, December, just because that's where it happened to fall in the instructional scope and sequence. But they talked about Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, and they talked about major holidays on each one, many of which did not occur in December, and they gave them all a neutral aspect. And this curriculum was from core knowledge. Now, as a social studies teacher, I don't love core knowledge in theory, but I really appreciated how they presented this information in a neutral way. So those are my 3 off the top of my head pieces of advice for how you can teach about religion without centering any one religion.
It's December, and as soon as December hits, many educators are excited to cover their classrooms with Santa, reindeer, and Christmas trees. Not everyone's Christian. And even if you're reading books about other holidays in December from other cultures, if Christmas is the main event in your classroom, then it makes it seem like it's the most important. Consider celebrating winter or kindness. My class always had a giving tree, not a Christmas tree. Make sure every student in your class feels seen.
What's considered classy if you're white, but trashy if you're a person of color?
When they move to any Asian countries and they're immediately praised for just knowing how to speak a little bit of that country's language. But for people like us, we will be immediately judged for not knowing how to speak their language fluently in any Western country. Weird, isn't it?
Now, today there's a lot of talk about privilege. About white privilege, about male privilege, about wealth privilege. And I think it's a helpful corrective to some of the societal systems that have been built up over years and decades and centuries. But I think we make a mistake to think of these lines of privilege or the boundaries around who we consider privilege. I think when we make these lines solid lines. Now, if you're white, you're privileged, and if you're not white, you're not. And if you're white, you can't talk about growing up poor and without privilege, God forbid, because you're white and you were born with privilege. You see, the problem with drawing with solid lines of privilege is we fail to realize that we all live along a gradient of privilege. And every single one of us has grown up with privilege by some measures and are surrounded by people who are less privileged than us. And it's also true that every single one of us has grown up with privilege without privilege by some measure and are surrounded by people who are more privileged than us. Does race play a part in it? Of course it does. Does gender? Yes. Does education and wealth and city of birth and occupation and religion and sexual orientation? Of course it does. Of course it does. It all does. But what isn't helpful for us as individuals who are being challenged by the incarnation is to draw solid lines of privilege around us or those we seek to reach. I am a second-generation Korean-American male born in the suburbs of New Jersey. And if I'm being honest, as an Asian American, we don't necessarily fit neatly into the bifurcated race narrative in America. Am I a person of color? Yes. Am I a person of privilege? Also yes. So in situations like mine, you can see the need to avoid drawing solid lines of privilege around individuals because we don't necessarily fit. The gradient line is much more helpful. This is why I believe that Asian Americans must not sit out this race conversation in America just because we don't fit neatly. Because many of us know what it means to be kept on the outside as a person of color. But we also know what it means to be allowed on the inside as a person of privilege.
Dreading Christmas with your family? Let me give you some tips. Hi, my name is Rosie. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a queer woman that grew up in an incredibly dysfunctional family, and these are my top tips for surviving Christmas. For one, set boundaries. That might be, I'm not coming to Christmas, I'm not coming to Christmas dinner. Or it might be conditional. I will come, but you must use my right name and pronouns, you must, not ask me invasive questions, or I will come, but if you do these things, I will leave. Number 2, practice self-care, both before the day, during the day, and after the day. Remember to look after yourself, do some mindfulness, journaling, and meditation in the lead up to Christmas and afterwards. And remember to take breaks from your family situation on Christmas, whether that means going out for a walk so you can just listen to a podcast or just ground yourself, or sneaking away to take a little bit of time out to just calm and regulate yourself. Number 3, prioritize yourself. You have to live in your brain and in your body for the rest of your life, so do the things that are best for you. Maybe that's not attending Christmas. Maybe that's just having a Christmas with your significant other. Maybe that's not celebrating Christmas at all. Do the things that are best for you, prioritize yourself, and advocate for yourself where you can. Who cares if you ruin Christmas Day by educating on pronouns? You gotta put yourself first, babe.